wanted to pop on and have a chat with you about surrender. I've written a blog post about that today. Some of you might have seen that. But I wanted to have a chat because it is really so important. And I know a lot of people do struggle with it. I struggle with it from time to time as well. Hello, anybody who's watching. I'd love it if you could say hi in the comments, and please feel free to ask me any questions about what I'm going to be talking about. So surrender, what is it and why is it so important? To me, surrender is all about giving up the fight. Now, that doesn't mean giving in and getting to a place of resignation about the illness. It just means giving up the struggle. And it's incredibly important because whenever we're fighting or struggling, we're not in a state of peace. And if we need to if we want to be able to send our body's resources to healing, we have to be in a state of peace. So fighting, resisting what is all about bringing tension into our body. And when you're fighting, you're also bringing yourself into the fight or flight system. The fight or flight nervous system. And what you really want to be doing is bringing yourself into the parasympathetic nervous system activity. And that can only be done when we stop trying to fight what is, when we stop trying to resist what is. Now, just thinking, I have to take some action in order to get better, is a resistance of what is. So surrender means letting go of the idea that you have to take some action, that you have to do something. For me, quite often I can get into the state that isn't surrender of, oh, but I have to meditate or I have to do my Tai Chi if I want things to get better. But when I'm in that state of I should be doing this, I have to be doing that, then I'm not in that peaceful, accepting, relaxed place in which my body can send its resources to healing. Surrender doesn't have to mean not doing anything at all, because when you stop fighting and stop resisting, when you allow things to be just exactly as they are, your body will tell you when it has the resources to do something that will be helpful. You will have a natural, easy urge to take that action. Surrender is really about stopping fighting to take that action. So yeah, it's about stopping fighting, stopping trying to make things different to the way they are, and stopping thinking that you've got to take some kind of action in order for things to get better. Often, especially when we're really poorly, it's much better to not take any action at all, to allow ourselves just to be at peace with what is, than it is to think, I've got to take some action, I've got to change this, I've got to get somewhere. Now, obviously, it's completely understandable that when we're suffering, when we're in pain, when we're exhausted, when we can't do anything, that we really want to make it different. We are in a state of not wanting. I do not want this. Surrender is about letting go of that not wanting. It's about just letting it be. And it really is the most powerful thing you can do for your well-being, especially when you're in a crash or when your energy is low or when you're struggling. So, how do we surrender? I think the most important thing about the how is to recognize how much it can benefit you. When you really know that by surrendering you can enter into a state of peace, and that state of peace is going to be the optimum thing you could do for yourself right now, it's easier to choose that surrender. It's kind of embracing the wisdom of surrender. When you can embrace that wisdom of surrender, it's much easier to do. For me, though, another big part of surrender is trust. When I enter into the state of surrender, I have to also tell myself that I am going to trust. I am going to trust that this is the best thing I can do for myself. I am going to trust that everything will be all right. I am going to trust that my body is working on my healing. I am going to trust that I don't have to do anything in order to heal. And I also like to trust that I am being supported by a higher power. All of that makes surrender much easier. And when you can surrender, you enter into that state of peace and things get a lot better. This week, I crashed quite badly, and actually my symptoms were worse than normal, and I couldn't understand it. And when I was in that state of what's going on, why are my symptoms worse than normal? Why am I in more pain than I normally am? Why have I got this symptom that I haven't had for years? What's going on? Have I caught something nasty? When I was in that questioning state, I was in a state of resistance. I was anxious, I was tense. It wasn't doing me any favours. Now, when I noticed that that's what was going on with me, I was able to remind myself to surrender. And when I did surrender, when I did trust all the things that I've just talked about, trusting, I immediately relaxed. And actually, really, really quite strikingly, my symptoms immediately relaxed as well. And by the end of that day, my symptoms were far calmer than they had been when I'd been in that state of what's going on. And actually, when I woke up the next morning, most of the excessive symptoms had gone. I was just in the normal state of crash, the normal state of low energy, a state that I am able to accept and not worry about. And so from then on, my well-being continued to improve. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I just want to encourage you to reflect on the idea of surrender. Think about how often could you surrender? How often could you let go more and get into that peaceful state? And maybe just think about how your not wanting to be where you're at might be adding tension into an already overloaded system, and how just letting go of all of that, allowing things to be as they are, could really, really help. So good luck with that. I'd love to see any highs or any comments, any questions before I go, but I'm just going to hang on a couple of seconds and let me see if there's any comments. Oh, here's Marina. She says thank you. Thank you for watching, Marina. It's lovely to have you here. Yeah, and it is a really powerful thing to learn to do, definitely. Okay, I think I'm going to say goodbye now then. Good luck with practicing and thinking about surrender. Maybe it's something you could journal on as well. Take care. Bye-bye.